Meaning. Venerable Master, Dharma friends, welcome to our Sutra lecture. My name is Heng Sure, and I'm going to ask Sam, what do you think is squeaking? That beep, beep, beep? You're pointing at something. I don't know what you're pointing at. My hard disk? Really? Okay. Let me, actually, it didn't even show up on here. So if I unplug it, let's try this. We have a beep, beep, beep sound, which would be nice to not listen to for 90 minutes. You're right. That was it. How could the hard drive have... Uh-oh. If the hard drive is beeping, that's not a happy thing, is it? No. Yeah, beeping hard drives are the next step to dead hard drives. All right. So, good evening in Berkeley, California. Good afternoon here in the Gold Coast, Queensland. There are some hardy souls sitting right there in the Buddha Hall. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. We have three of us here. We have Sam, we have Ben, we have Alex. Alex, say hello. Alex says hello to all his DRBU classmates from Australia. He is now back with us here. And I'm happy to report that it rained for a number of hours here. And three of us came back from this morning's meditation class. And as we pulled up my driveway, there were three juvenile adolescent kangaroos who popped up out of the bush and then were playing tag around our golf cart, coming up and chasing each other, and just for the sheer exuberance of it, celebrating the rain. So it was quite wonderful to see these three carefree young neighbors running around the trees and disappearing, sproing off into the bush, chasing each other, just for the joy of being alive on a rainy day in Queensland. So that was lovely to see this morning. Now, I am back from travels, and one thing I wanted to do today was share with everybody where I've been and what I've done since I was with you last, but that is secondary importance compared to the important thing, significant thing that we're doing, which is turning the pages of the Garland Sutra. So I'm going to launch into our text after we invoke spiritual presence. So let me do that. Excuse me. Frog in my throat. Let's put this guy back to size. All right. Here we go. Sam is volunteered to translate into Chinese. Cliff, his teammate, is in China with his family. So we're webcasting in Chinese to those who want to hear the lecture in Mandarin, which is nice. It's a blessing indeed. All right, up to the top of the page where it says Garland Sutra, homage to the Buddhas, Garland Sutra, of great expansive teachings. In the ocean-wide Garland Assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That's our melody. Namo Dam Guam Ayen Ji Ayen Hai Namo Dam Ayen Ji Ayen Hai One more. That lovely organ-like sound comes courtesy of an emerald 12-string guitar from Northern Ireland. Alistair Hay and his crew put together a weather impermeable, indestructible carbon fiber guitar. So no matter how wet, no matter how dry, the guitar stays in tune. Can you imagine? We are going back to between pages 10 and 11. Those of you who have a copy of the text, should you got one, if you have one there. If you're looking online, it's also available. Go to berkeleymonastery.org. Got some oolong tea here at the ready. There we are. Okay, got our chat box in case anybody needs to get in touch. There we go. In there, lovely. Okay, I think we're ready. Let me make that bigger for those of you who want to read it with me. Last time that we dug into the Flower Garland Sutra, we had begun the proper discussion of the instructions from a bodhisattva named Vajra Treasury to the other bodhisattvas, teaching them about the 10th stage, Di Shi Di. And, now that I've steered you wrong. I said we're going to start on the top of page 10. We're not. We're going to the bottom of page 8 and 9 because I want to catch up to the Bodhisattva's qualifications for what is called to be qualified to the rank of the Dharma cloud, the cloud of Dharma, Fa Yun Di. So we're going to step back to the paragraph that begins Ar Shi, that one right there. I'm going to go, read a lot of Chinese, so all of you need to prepare to hear a lot of Middle American accented Mandarin. And going to read all the way down to Yi Che Zhi Zhi So Zhi Shou Zhi Wei down there. Okay, so we're going to read a big chunk of Chinese followed by an equally large chunk of English text. So here we go. Ready with Ar Shi? Ready? Palms together. Here we go. Ar Shi. Oh, let's see. Up. Now, interrupting myself. I'm going to ask you to read along in unison instead of following call and response, simply because call and response is much harder when we're lagged around the planet. So if you can go with me. Now, some of you have very big voices. Some of you have timid little voices. And when we read together, what's good is to read with our ears as well as our mouths. That is to say, listen to your neighbor and the sounds that they are making and accord. The quieter voices be bold. The louder voices be in harmony. All right? Bring it back for the sake of the group's sound, which is very rewarding when we do it together. Right? Here we go. 尔时金刚藏菩萨摩诃萨告解脱乐菩萨言：佛子菩萨摩诃萨从初地乃至第九地，亦如是无量智慧，观察觉了已，善思维修习，善满足百法， 其无变助道法，增长大福德智慧，广行大悲，知世界差别，入众生界愁林，入如来所行处，随顺如来机灭横，常观察如来力，无所谓不共佛法，名为得一切众一切智智受智慧。We did it. That's it. What did he say? Oh, you didn't hear? Oh, well, I'll tell you again. No, I won't. Kidding. We're on the top of page 9, bottom of page 9, last paragraph. Last two paragraphs, in fact. Ready? Let's do it in English. I'm going to put my palms together again. Here we go. Just then, Bodhisattva Mahasattva Vajra Treasury said to Bodhisattva Moon of Liberation, disciples of the Buddha, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, who has traveled from the first stage to the ninth stage, and who is now awakened through limitless wisdom and contemplation, grows skillful in reflecting upon and cultivating what he has learned. He skillfully brings immaculate dharmas to perfection. He amasses boundlessly many dharmas that aid the way. He augments great blessings, virtues, and wisdom. He practices great compassion on a vast scale. He knows the differences among worlds. He enters the dense thickets of sentient beings' realms. He masters places where Tathagatas practice. He accords with the Tathagata's practice of stillness. He always contemplates a Tathagata's powers, fearlessnesses, and unshared dharmas of a Buddha. He merits the title, one who has attained the wisdom of all modes, and he qualified to that rank. There we are. Last time, I wish I could say last week, but indeed it was 3 weeks ago, more than, when we spoke about the sutra last time. But we're back, and I'm happy to say that barring bushfires, acts of karmic retribution, or the end of the world, I shall be here until June, reliably and regularly, explaining the sutra for you and with you, looking into it with you. So let's hope that people who want to develop the habit of listening to the sutra will be able to say, Heng Sure is going to be there live or on the screen, but not on tape. In other words, I'll be, if we can get our clock worked out in synchronization, you can be here with me, asking questions, getting momentum, digging into the 10th stage, really having a sense of the flow of the sutra. And I'm really looking forward to it. We have another monk in our association who is a regular sutra lecturer. He's an exegete doing exegesis. He's doing midrash in the Jewish tradition, making commentary on scripture. His name is Jinfan. Jinfan Sure has got me beat because he does it every single day and doesn't stop. If he travels, he does his travels around his lecture, which I really admire. I think that's the kind of spirit that I emulate. I aim to emulate. I hope to come up to that consistency. When I travel, if I'm out of range of Wi-Fi, there's no lecture, right? So we ask Jinfo Sure to fill in for me, which allows you all to hear the Sutra of Infinite Light from another perspective. That's a good thing too. But for our monk Jinfan to make it a point to explain the sutra first, everything else follows. That's really admirable kind of spirit. And as a result, he's got hundreds of listeners regularly. Jinchuan Sure was just there. Maybe Jinchuan, later you can put in a word about what you saw about our men's monastery down in Six Turtles, Taiwan, down in Kaohsiung County. So get your notes together. We'll ask you to say a few words about it later. on to explain the text. What's going on? Vajra treasury, diamond regent Bodhisattva is telling us about what's called the stage of the Dharma's cloud, the cloud of Dharma stage, Bhagandi. Number 10, the last step a Bodhisattva takes before entering Buddhahood, before really, really leaving behind the Bodhisattva path for good, unless he decides not to. That happens too. Some Bodhisattvas say, no, living beings are a mess. They need more Bodhisattvas, so I'll stay on the 10th stage. One of those is our legendary hero of the nether regions, Earth Treasury, Earth Store, Bodhisattva. He is a Bodhisattva of the 10th stage who did just that. So here's our Bodhisattva saying how to do it. He is Bodhisattva Mahasattva Vajra Treasury. He says to Bodhisattva, Moon of Liberation. The two of them are the dialogue partners that bring this to life. Vajra, let's see, Moon of Liberation is the interlocutor. He asks the questions. He's the Dharma requester. And Vajra Treasury is the teacher, the speaker. So the teacher, the speaker, says to the interlocutor, here we go. Disciples of the Buddha, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, who's gone from stage 1 to stage 9, and who is now awakened. He's awake now. He has used wisdom and contemplation, and as a result, he is good at reflecting on and cultivating what he's learned. Okay. Do we have anything? Yeah, we do. I was just in Kuala Lumpur, and in Kuala Lumpur, I was introduced by a mutual friend to a man named Mr. Jin. And Mr. Jin reflects on and cultivates what he knows about tea. Truly. He biographical, he had a hard start in life, which took him into prison twice. And he was a gang leader and heading for a life of crime and payment for that crime when his father passed away. And they allowed him to attend his father's funeral, where his beloved sister was also there, but he had to show up at his father's funeral in handcuffs, in restraints. And that was enough of a shock to his mind, to his conscience, that he said, this is not right. I got to do something about this. I'm embarrassed in front of my father's grave to be here in manacles and restraints, handcuffs. So he, at that point, turned around and found himself, somebody offered him a potting wheel and some clay. And he started learning the craft of pottery. And he applied himself with the same energy that he applied to his life of crime and knocking other people down with his fists. He applied it to the study of pottery. He got so good that, I'm sorry, I said Malaysia. It's not, we were in Singapore when this happened. And he was sent by the government of Singapore to London to attend a special school of ceramics. And he led his class in knowledge of ceramics and just the incredible variety and skill that he applied to the study of making. As that, thinking back on the original pots that he made, he has come a long way, because they were, in his opinion, crude and primitive. And as I looked at the pots he is making now, they are delicate and one step away from not even being there. The gaiwan, the pouring pots, and the gongdao bei, the brewing pots and the pouring pots and the cups that he makes, they're one step from emptiness. It's only this fragile skin of clay that is holding the liquid in, and you wait, there's no heat, they're strong, but feather light. And then after becoming, the government of Singapore asked him to host shows of his pottery. And he's now one of the most renowned potters in Singapore. But he also, as a result, started studying tea. And his tea master, several teachers, got him to the place where they would try hundreds of teas per hour in silence. And his tea teacher would increase the heat by a number of seconds and ask him to taste the difference. And he did. And so his answers now, how do you know when the tea is ready? He says, I feel it in my heart. He feels his heartbeat to regulate when the tea is ready. This kind of sensitivity. And he is skillful in reflecting upon and cultivating what he has learned, to the point where I was so inspired by what how he lives, because we went to visit. His house is, he has lights over his tea table, which is bare of anything but teacup, tea brewer pot, the cups, the tea. And in his workroom, there are only his tools, his single small wheel, the clay, and the tools for putting edges and ridges and things that potters use, but nothing else. So inspiring to see a man who has given everything else away in service to his craft. And he's very happy, very peaceful person who puts all of his consciousness in molding clay so that other people can enjoy the drink of tea. And we drank some 1950s pu'er, so pu'er tea, 70 years old. That quite an experience. So anyway, that when I hear about the Bodhisattva who is awake through wisdom and contemplation and grows skillful, meaning is good at what? Reflecting on what he's learned, and then cultivating what he's learned. And it transformed there were four of us who were visiting him. And it was a memory that I'll carry with me. Just quite marvelous. So inspired me to clean up my act as a monk. So indeed, yeah. So what else? This Bodhisattva, according to Vajra Treasury, has these abilities now. And there are 10 verbs in a row. Let me count. And by the way, he, put an S in front of he, and you've got she. And if that pleases you, if that brings it closer to your situation, easily be a female here. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 verbs. What are they? Our Bodhisattva now brings dharmas to perfection, amasses many dharmas, augments great blessings, practices great compassion, knows the difference among worlds, enters the dense thicket, masters practice places, accords with stillness, contemplates three things, and merits a title. Okay? So, this is, mind you, before he touches the 10th stage. That having gone from stage 1 to stage 9, our Bodhisattva now, if you had to give a resume to an employer, this is it. This is the Bodhisattva's resume to date. And he is applying for the position of one at the 10th stage. And he's been studying hard, been working hard, and he's got 10 qualities that have accrued now to him through his work from stage 1 to stage 9. Should we poke in them? We did it once before, so let me go quickly. The reason why I wanted to go back is continuity, because we had a 3-week gap. But more than that, I want to work on the last couple here that we skipped over last time. He brings immaculate dharmas to perfection. The teapots and teaware, W-A-R-E, teaware that this Bodhisattva makes are perfect, immaculate, right? And dharmas that aid the way, 助道之法, they are boundlessly many. What would a dharma that aids the way be? I remember, it was very funny. Master Haideng, the 50 times all China martial arts champion, a record that stands, was on his way to America. This monk, he was a monk. He was the abbot of Shaolin Monastery. Back before Shaolin became the world-class tourist destination that it is now. He stood about 5'3". He was not tall in stature, but he was tall in toughness. This is the monk who you could not knock down. And I think several of his 50 victories in all China martial arts, meaning anyone could join to compete, some of his victories came simply because you couldn't knock him down. When I was a kid, my brother and I, Steve and I, had a punching bag called Joe Palooka. And a punching bag is this 5-foot-tall inflatable thing with a heavy bottom. You punch it and it bounces back up. You knock it down, it comes up. Knock it down. Punching bag. And it was Joe Palooka. That was the name. And Master Haideng was a living Joe Palooka. You couldn't knock him down. And when he came to San Francisco, he stood on the stage of a movie theater, the Odeon, wherever it was, in Chinatown, San Francisco, and invited anybody in the audience to come up and take a crack at him. And we had policemen, we had Marines, we had street toughs, couldn't knock him down. He gave him a baseball bat and said, anywhere but the head. They're whacking him and it's called Pai Da Gong, the ability to move your chi to wherever you need it to absorb a blow. So how do you beat him if you can't knock him down? Couldn't knock him off his feet. He's only 5'3". So martial arts is a dharma that aids the way. And tea drinking, that was where my story began. Master Hua was going to go to the airport to meet Master Haideng, and he had 3 of us in the car, 3 disciples. And we picked up Master Hua at a temple in Chinatown where he had gone to perform a service. And as we were running to San Francisco airport, Master Hua came down the stairs holding a teapot that had just been brewed and jumping in the car. And I remember he took the teapot and tipped it up like that he didn't have a teacup. He drank from the teapot. I was like, Shifu, can you do that? He said, mind your own business, you know. So Shifu did drink tea, sometimes without benefit of cup, when he had to. So tea can be a dharma that aids the way. Why? It keeps you alert and is organically relatively not far from water, except it's tea, not water. He augments great blessings. Oh, by the way, we made it to the San Francisco airport and spilled only a little bit of tea. So, he augments great blessings, virtues, and wisdom, the good parts. Augment meaning grow in. He practices great compassion on a vast scale. And today in our meditation class, we went around the room and invited folks to say anything that they had in mind about the situation with the bushfires here, wildfires in Australia. And one of our friends who's a regular in the class just talked about the weight of awareness of the suffering, particularly of the animals. And of course, are iconic animals of koalas and kangaroos. People saw the photos of the suffering, and it brought worldwide attention to Australia and revealed how much people care about our fellow creatures on the planet. And when there's suffering on a scale like that, it is hard to bear indeed. And around the world, people have been pouring out strength to try to provide healing where it's possible, and to provide new awareness of methods to prevent or to deal with the fires that will arise in the future. So we'll see whether the Australian government, either federal or local, becomes kind of steps up to learn the latest in firefighting. Certainly, California has the firefighters in California have gotten better at it by necessity. They had no choice. And now with Australia's unprecedented fire disasters, perhaps some of the strength coming in from around the world will be devoted to certainly getting access to water in towns that ran out as the fires came, that sort of thing. So we'll see. But great compassion is that sense of it's happening in Australia, but it's happening to us. It's not limited to New South Wales kangaroos and pythons and wallabies, you know. It's happening to all of us. The Bodhisattva knows the differences among worlds, and our awareness of worlds took a great leap when, who was the Van Leeuwenhoek? Was he the one who put ground glass in a tube and created a microscope and showed us that in a single drop of water, there were countless living beings? So worlds within worlds, right? Indeed. I had an awareness of worlds within worlds when I went to plug in my hot water pot. I've got a Japanese Sojirushi hot water dispenser that keeps it at a constant temperature, and you know, one of those nice, you press the button on top and out comes the hot water. And I had unplugged it before I left 3 weeks ago, but I hadn't emptied it entirely. And so I came back, and as I plugged it, I was reaching to plug it in, I looked at the pot to see if it was clean, and out the top vent there was some strange looking something, and I lifted the top, and sure enough, inside was covered with ants who had gone into the pot for the water. That's how dry. And my sink was dry, so they found the water in the pot. They crawled in through the vents and then made a nest inside. They had regular access to the water. So worlds within worlds. And I have to say, I am so glad I didn't plug the pot in before I looked, because I would have steamed all these ants. That would have hurt my heart. So there they are. I'm gratefully found it and opened it up so that they can escape. And if all is well, we'll have my pot back with ant-free. But to have an entire world of ants living in the top lid of my water pot was a new one for me. That's how dry it is in Australia, that the ants crawl in the pot to get the water and thought, hey, this is a pretty good place. I like it. There's water here. There's exit up here. I'll just live here. Omi tofu. Worlds within. He knows the difference among worlds. This is a world of dryness. He knows the dense thicket of living beings' realms. And there's an entire chunk of the 9th stage that describes dense thickets. And what you have with the dense thicket is no way to travel. Blocked. Travel is blocked through a dense thicket unless you're a rabbit or a small bird. And what's it talking about? It's a metaphor, right? It's an image to talk about how most of us think and why it's a challenge to think clearly when a situation arises, because we have competing emotions, ideas, biases, prejudices, fears, desires, what's generally called wuming, lack of awareness. Dense thicket, that's a dense thicket, right? Talking about our minds, living beings, sentient beings, realms. Hard to clear it out, and yet the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha's teaching, is precisely the clippers, the hedge clippers, for cutting through dense thickets, for pruning, getting us back to where not thicket free, or not vine free, but trimmed and pruned so it has a shape, so the sun can come in, the water can nourish it, and it can produce life-giving benefits for people. That's what the Dharma does to dense thickets of living beings' realms, is it says, six realms, 6 paths, exit. Go this way, big red arrow, out of the 6 realms. Or if you're a bodhisattva, it's a round trip. It's out and back and out and back. He masters places where Tathagatas practice. Where do Tathagatas practice? Well, good question. Today, in the Gold Coast, it was our Chan Hall, called the Blessings House. Future Tathagatas practice there. And it was lovely to have so many new friends show up for the first time to come and try meditation. Where did Tathagatas practice? In the mind, for sure. Certainly, in the mind. My mind, your mind. That's where they practice. He accords his name to Ruai, the one who has come like this. By not going. Ulai ibuchu, right? So Tathagata's practice of stillness. I'm aware that when I meditate unsuccessfully, it's because I'm moving. And maybe by looking at me from the outside, you couldn't see a lot of, wobbling. But in fact, I'm not quiet enough. So how do you sit still? One is you sit still not through muscle strength, but through relaxation. But that relaxation is different from sleep. And even when we sleep, we're rolling around, right? Rapid eye movement, that's movement. So when I sit successfully, it's because I've got that place where you're what? Centered. When you're centered, you don't have to move. And I remember I was 19 years old. I was living in Kyoto, Japan, at a Zen monastery called Antaiji. And Uchiyama Roshi, Uchiyama Kosho Roshi, our teacher, wonderful teacher of Buddhism, had a zazen practice that he did every time, and I really enjoyed watching. And you could watch occasionally. He would let you sit with him. And what he did is he got a smile on his face, and he would say, "Let's do zazen," he would say, meaning the best thing in the world. He would smile. He would say, "Why don't we go do zazen?" And it was like, "Why don't we have Christmas and birthday together today, now?" Like that kind of happiness. And then he would cross into his legs into full lotus, and he would start to move. And he would go like this, and he would go like this, and he would put hands on his knees and go right, left, right. And his pendulum going back and forth would get smaller and smaller until he found the perfect middle, and he stopped right there. And that image stays with me to this day. Anytime I want to meditate, and I know nobody's watching, right? Go back and forth, and then stop right in the middle. And the Chinese would say, "Yan guan bi, bi guan kou, kou guan xin." Eyes contemplate the nose contemplates the mouth, and the mouth contemplates the mind or the heart. What does that mean? It means by reciting whatever it is you're using to center. So that centers. And also ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Here, ears ahead of shoulders, right? Oh, bring it back. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, nose over navel, and I'm centered. That's the center of my posture. And watching Uchiyama Roshi get himself centered gave me a real sense of first of all, the physicality, the body embodying of meditation, because you're doing it in your body. It's not an idea. You sit with your body, but you also, slow down. You sit with your body, and that body has a lot of components that you have to balance. You have to, if my pendulum goes this way and doesn't come back, unbalanced. Likewise, unbalanced. You balance it, ears, inner ear, eyes, nose, centered. What did I watch him find? His skeleton, his bones were balanced. His back to front, this object, this head, balanced, right? Not too far forward, not right in the middle. And effortlessly, he was right there. Okay. And when he meditated, he was really still, quiet from my vision watching him, right? That's Uchiyama, Master Uchiyama. And of course, Master Hua, I won't tell that story today. I'll tease you and hold it for future reference. Master Hua did something that I'll tell you about that later. We got a chance to watch my teacher, our teacher, find stillness, and it was awe-inspiring. Oh my goodness. So to be able to get your body centered is the first step to getting your mind centered, which is a step towards getting still. How do you get still? You don't move. It's not muscle strength, because over what happens when you're holding yourself still, you get tired and then you're moving again, right? Nope. It's not that kind of muscle tension. It's relaxation based on strength. And probably the strongest thing in our bodies is our bones holding us up. And then this perfect balance. If you find yourself sliding back, don't like that. Perfect. The practices of stillness. How is that done? Now, this is another image that might help. One of the stillest things in the world is a gyroscope. And what's a gyroscope? A gyroscope is a wheel that turns. And it turns so perfectly that it can seem to be immobile when in fact it's whirling, right? How bicycles, let's change the wheel from here to here, turning like this. You know how at a certain speed, bicycle spokes become invisible because they're turning just right, they vanish? That's another kind of stillness. So maybe the Tathagata's internal wheels are allowing him to sit perfectly still. So interesting concept. Stillness, that's a real topic to talk about because it's a skill. Kids are not still. Kids are constantly moving because they don't have that skill. So what is it that the Buddha has gone, he's alive, but he appears as still as a dead body, and yet he's more alive than ever. So, 若人欲不死，先做活死人. Master Hua said, if you really want to get to that place beyond death, first you have to be a living dead person. If you want to go beyond, if you want to go to that place of immortality, first you have to die while you're still alive. Oh no, that sounds entirely too scary, doesn't it? 若人欲不死，先做活死人. You want to really not die? Well, while you're alive, die first. We'll let that one go for now. What's next? Here we go. This is what I've been waiting to get to. He always, here's our verbs, contemplates a Tathagata's powers, fearlessnesses, and the unshared dharmas of a Buddha. And then we'll skip to the 10th. He merits the title of somebody who has the Yiqie Zhi, and he qualified to the rank. This is a interesting aspect of the 10th stage, that it's a position. There's a actual qualification, a list sort of the attributes of somebody who is at the rank, the stage of the 10th stage, the 10th ground, the ultimate of the Bodhisattva's path. Now, back to 9. What does he contemplate? Check out. I've got us, let's see here. Not that one. I don't want that one. Let's see here. My translator needs these. Sam, I'm going to send this to you. Save it, close it. So bear with me for a sec while we send off this to Sam. There we go. And Sam, everybody's going to see your email address there. Oh, okay. This is the 18 special Buddha Dharmas, 18 Dharmas special to the Buddha. I'm going to pick it up. Hello, where's my attachment? There we go. There we go. Got it? There it is. And sending it off. Don't. So, Sam, you can translate from the actual list. What is it? Anything that comes in 10s and 4s and 18s, I know scares a lot of people away. What do we have? We have Buddhist lists. Oh boy. Don't want that one. I want this one. There it is. These are lists. And Dr. Konza, our renowned translator of Prajnaparamita literature, says that actually all the sutras arose originally as lists of practices, particularly in the Prajnaparamita. So when you actually touch Buddhist teachings, what you discover right away are lists of things: the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the 12 Links of Conditioned Arising, etc., etc., etc. There are actually books that are nothing but lists of dharmas. I've got several of them, and if you're a translation addict, if you're a translation monster, how does it go? Sanzang Fa Shu, I think is the name of one of them. The collection of lists of Buddha Dharmas. That Buddhist world will be grateful to you for having done that work. We have reached lists. And sometimes they're fun to do. I tend to point people to dictionaries instead of going through the lists because it's boring. You have to really focus. It's hard to bring them alive, to make them real. And yet somehow, without exposing everybody to the lists in the texts, we're not getting the full flavor of what the Buddha wants us to understand. So today we're going to dig into the 10 the 10 powers of the Buddha, the 4 qualities of fearlessness, and the 18 special Buddha dharmas, believe it or not. We've done the 10 and the 4 before. It's the last one, the 18, that we haven't touched before. So let me run quickly through the 10 Tathagata's powers, that the Rulai Shili, they're called, and mention that there are different lists, because these lists have been around for 2,500 years, thank you very much. And there have been different renderings of those lists. And so, Alex, if you could mention to that family that we're online here. Yeah. So let me give you the 10 of the Buddha, and mention that there are also 10 Bodhisattvas, wisdom powers. And you can see we're scrolling past the 18. So there's a second list. There's multiple differing lists of them. And what are they here? Shi Baba Gong Fa. Okay, right there. Bring them down right there. Oh, I need that back, please. Not you. There we go. Oh, there we go. Here they are. The 10 powers of a Buddha are such that the Buddha, a Buddha, will use these to teach. That's what they are. These are tools for teaching, right? Bodhisattva looks at someone who needs to learn a lesson, and he uses these tools to do so. The first is the Bodhisattva knows what is the case and what is not. Ten wisdom powers. Come back here, please. There they are, right there. Yes, thank you. Notice they're in Chinese. Haha. I'll translate for you. Aren't you glad you got a translator here? So that way the Chinese comes alive. The Buddha knows what is the case and what is not the case. All these are called zhili, wisdom powers. So he's got the basis in fact in front of him. 2, he knows san shi ye bao. He knows when he looks at somebody what their karma has brought them. He can read their past, and he knows that this karmic cause produced this karmic result. And that helps a lot if you want to teach somebody. Okay, 3, what else? Zhi, zhu, chan, jie, tuo, shi, li. He has the wisdom power to know everything about meditation. Literally, it's all of the dhyanas and the liberations. So meditation is the tool that he will use to deal with whatever comes up, including bushfires in Australia. 4, the Buddha knows immediately what people are capable of, the knowledge of their faculties. Zhi, zhu, gan, sheng, li. Sheng, li. He knows what is, what's this person's best qualities and their worst qualities. Are they short in faith, belief? Are they cynical? In other words, cynical turn of mind, or are they gullible, too easily led astray? These are the Buddha knows immediately about that person. Okay, number 5 is 知种种解. He knows what people understand already. So does this person have knowledge of the past, history? Are they embedded in the culture, or are they completely alienated from their culture? So he won't be able to use the things that come up through their ancestral understanding. He knows, so 种种解, their understanding. Then 种种戒, he knows, looking immediately, whether this person came from a realm were they animals in a past life? Have they been part of the heavens? Have they been devas? So they're 戒, 种种戒之力. He has wisdom of the realms they have come from. Okay, this one is fascinating. 知一切智所到智力. He knows immediately where actions will lead. And in teaching people, he can tell with each step what their ultimate destination will be, right? So he can, in terms of teaching, he knows where all paths lead, is the way we translate that. How useful when you're teaching somebody to say, let me guide you on this path because it will take you where you want to go. Okay. Number 8, he has the knowledge of Tian Yan Wu Ai Zhi Li. He has the knowledge of the Deva I. He can see beyond this realm, into the realm of Devas, realm of the hells, animals, and the ghosts. So that expanded vision, right? Further, number 9 is he knows past lives. It says Wu Lo, Su Ming Wu Lo Zhi Li. He can tell past lives. And of what are called the 6 psychic powers, those are 2 of the 6. The other ones are not there, the ear, thoughts, etc. But number 10 is the last of the 6 psychic powers. He knows the eternal, the complete cutting off of habits. That's the 6th psychic power that they say only Buddhas have. So, 永断习气之力, that one is a very interesting power because it talks to the strength of habits in frustrating our attempts to cultivate, right? Well, I wanted to be good, but my friends called me and I just went with them. I don't know why, I promised that I wasn't going to scold her anymore, but it just arose and my button got pushed and it came out of my mouth before I knew it. Right? Habits, the power of habits. And this is the eternal severing of habitual energies. That's knowledge, the wisdom power of knowing how to do that, cutting them off for good. Very wonderful. And that's the 10 wisdom powers that are Bodhisattva. Where's our text? Come back here. Let's bring our text up quickly. Here we are. It said, he always contemplates a Tathagata's powers. That's the first one, the 10. The fearlessnesses, there are only 4 of those. And then the unshared dharmas of a Buddha, 18 of those. Ho, ho, ho. All right. So what are the 4 kinds of fearlessness? They have to do, interestingly, with speaking Dharma. And they are the equivalent. Now, there are 2 lists, so I want to be sure that we're talking about the same list. So here we are, coming right up. There's our 18, and Sanshur Soyo Ichijir de Wu Ai Come on here. Sanyan, let's see here. Dabe, Shirley. Okay, right here. This is that other list. Yeah, here it is. In the Si Wu So Wei that the Bodhisattva gets, that is like the Buddha, he's got courage, zheng deng jue wu wei. He's got fearlessness, in other words, courage when it comes to equal awakening. Zheng deng jue, fearlessness. When it comes to enlightenment, yong lo yong jin wu wei. He's got courage when it comes to eternally cutting off outflows, lo. He's got courage when it comes to explaining shuo zhang fa wu wei, things that obstruct the Dharma. And he's got courage when it comes to explaining methods of escape, shuo chu dao wu wei. Okay, why is this a weird list? Aren't those good things? What's wrong with enlightenment, ending outflows, things that hurt you, and then ways to get out of to leave, the methods of leaving, escape, right? Okay. I think I'm making everybody very confused here. Because why? Understanding what's going on here requires experience with cultivation. There's a famous psychotherapist named Erich Fromm, who, when I was growing up in the 60s, wrote a book that was the talk of psychological circles, but also intellectual circles. It was called Escape from Freedom, right? And it seems contradictory. Why do you want to escape from freedom? Isn't freedom what everybody wants? And Erich Fromm's experience was not necessarily. Often freedom can be scary. We fall in love with our prison cell. We attach ourselves to the bars that hold us in. How strange, right? And that was his psychological research. And often people, given options to gain liberation from the things that oppress them, choose to turn around and go right back in to the misery that is our jail cell, right? Our prisons of misery, we prefer to know what Erich Fromm discovered in his book called Escape from Freedom. That's precisely what's going on here. So let me, I know that Sam won't be able to see this, but it's fearlessness when facing right awakening. In other words, liberation. Fearlessness when facing right awakening. Zheng deng jue wu wei. Fearlessness, number 2, is fearlessness when facing eternal cessation of outflows. Outflows are what kill us, and when we face the possibility of cutting them off forever, we need courage because it's scary. Freedom is scary. That's the point of all this. And that's why it's hard to explain because it sounds contradictory. The Buddha knows what it's like to let go of the darkness that has covered us forever. This is fearlessness when facing explanations of what obstructs the Dharma. He is fearless when he wants to tell others about things to avoid. It's so funny because this is twist, right? You want to avoid things that obstruct the Dharma, right? No, I don't want to hear about it. I just want my happy, blissful ignorance. Don't tell me how to get free. I don't want to hear it. That's Buddha says, I totally get it. I am with you. Hang in there. And the last one, fearlessness when facing Chu Dao, things that, let's see here, facing the path of escape from what? From rebirth and samsara. So why don't we grab what lets us out of samsara with both hands and never let go? Scary. So that's why we need fearlessness, courage. Okay? You understand the insightful reverse psychology here? That's why this list is so neat. It's like, yeah, it's hard to really grab emptiness. It's really hard to let go of painful things that are still familiar. We prefer clinging to what hurts us rather than grabbing what we don't know. The promise is liberation. What's liberation? I don't want to hear about it. Right? Okay, there we go. Now, having done that, I'm going to hold off another week on our 18 special dharmas. There are 18 things that Buddhas alone enjoy. It's 不公法, dharmas which only Buddhas use or master. Why is that the case? Well, I'm not a Buddha, so I can't tell you, but I have a clue. Because they're challenging to do it the way the Buddha does. Perfection. A lot of the 18 dharmas, we'll find out about them next week, and I won't have to contextualize them the way I did this time. I can jump right in because we've been touching these for 2 weeks. But the 18 are done to a Buddha's level, which is to say, perfectly, right? And it's the same kind of thought, is that perfection is scary. What do we do that's perfect? Nothing, right? There's always, because it's a conditioned dharma, conditions fall apart and it's gone again. We lost it again. What do they say? Of the eight kinds of suffering, there are actually 9. There's one kind of suffering which is called seeking and not getting, but there's another kind of suffering which is seeking and then getting. And when we get it, we discover, I didn't want it. What I wanted was desire to end. It didn't have to have an object. When I got the object, all I had left was my desire because the object was not it. It wasn't what I wanted. Right? So, how interesting and human. One of the things I love about the Dharma is it's so human. The Buddha described it for people with all our frailties and contradictions right in there. When you finally got your heart's desire, what you discovered was you only had the desire left, and it was insatiable. And it wasn't bound up in the thing. It was just like a fire. Desire burns like a fire. And it will consume anything that we bring up to our senses. Hallelujah. Bodhisvaha. What do they say? Ain't that a kicker? That's a kicker. Yeah. All right. Let's see now. So we're going to park the 18 special Buddha Dharmas until next week. We'll come back to them and contemplate perfection and how imperfect indeed we are. Meanwhile, Jin Chuan, do you happen to have your microphone handy? Do you want to say a word about your experience in Six Turtles down there?
Sure.
What happened?
I can share a little bit. I don't know if you want me to also show some pictures. Can you hear me, Dharma Master?
Hello, hello. Is anybody hearing him?
Hello, can you hear me? Seems like Dharma Master can't hear me.
There you go. Oh, my mic was, your mic was muted. Thank you. Go ahead. You mind starting again? We didn't get that.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah, happy to share. I don't know if you want to also show some of the pictures.
Have you got them?
Yeah, I do.
The photos you took were quite nice. I looked at them.
Those were, I can get it to work from, I was just testing it out in Zoom. So if I can share my screen for...
Now, I won't be able to see them, but...
No, I can share it with you. I'll ask to use your screen.
Okay, all right.
Here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, let's do here. So just give me 30 seconds.
So do I unshare? Is that what happens?
No, I'll just... Okay, I'm going to ask for the screen. But yeah, the unshare. You unshare your screen?
I unshare. Okay, there you go. Stop share. I did it. Okay. All right.
Then I'll share my screen. Start broadcast. Okay.
We can do this because you're on Zoom. There it is. I see it.
Okay, now
screen broadcast.
Google Photos.
Yep. There it is. My 3 colleagues here in Gold Coast cannot see unless you want to come and look at it.
So I'll just very briefly, this is the view from Liu Gui Monastery out onto the Liu Gui Six Turtles. It's a little small rural area outside. It's a beautiful place. It's very quiet. Actually, no, it's actually not that quiet. During the day, it's quiet. At night, the neighboring Taoists really are vigorous in their cultivation and recitation. So they chant for like an hour and a half. It's like loud beatings of drums and yeah, it's quite something.
Noisy Taoists. Those noisy Taoists.
Yeah. And this is our monastery on the left there. What you notice is actually it's a new coat of paint.
That's beautiful.
Actually, so it looks just like new. So this is in Taiwan, southern Taiwan. Oh. And then they made a new path, 108 steps, so that elders, when they come, can walk up. This is a small house on this small kind of trailer on the side. So this is, let me see, this is a road up to the monastery, the path going up. Okay, I'll just kind of scan through those. Sorry. So this is the front of the monastery. This is a new kitchen on the side. So they built a new kitchen with some walks. If people haven't been to Liu Gui recently, Fanfasher actually improved these facilities a lot. This is a new bathroom building on the side. And so you can have about 70 people cultivate there without any problem. What's really impressive is this. This is the new Buddha hall downstairs. That Buddha image in the center is about 500 pounds. And the 2 Buddhas on the side are Samantabhadra Bodhisattva and Manjushri Bodhisattva, I think 250 pounds each. They have to get a special table to hold their weight. And then they have about enough space for about 70 bowing cushions. This is the bottom floor, small library on the side. The rules for the men's side. Okay, going upstairs, this is the 2nd floor Buddha hall.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. They re-gilded the images. This is the side hall. This is Medicine Master. This is the altar for Master Hua. There's a little highway on the side to the 2 dragons that I think were Master Hua's disciples.
Wax for dragons.
Fanfasher told me a little story about them, but maybe I'll leave that off maybe Dharma Master probably knows the story better than me. But suppose there's 2 dragons who were sent to protect Taiwan. And the nuns, when they had their Buddhist academy in Taiwan, carried this highway around with them as they went from monastery to monastery.
Yeah.
This is a new altar that somebody offered to the monastery. It's a really amazing Guanyin image. And then the 3 Buddhas on the back. So a lot of new developments. He built windows around, so that's enclosed. Fanfasher showed me the well that we have in Liu Gui. This is around the area. Okay, the roof, if people haven't been there, he put kind of tile on the bottom and then railing around. So now you can use the roof as a activities area. Before, people might fall off the building, and that's like a 30-foot drop. So you wouldn't want children up there. But now with the railings all around, you can actually do activities up there. So this is the view.
That's the jungle of southern Taiwan.
Yeah, the jungle of, but you can see how beautiful it is from the roof. Tropical country. So rain is plenty and everything's clean and tidy. So the facilities, okay, I just want to show this is what Dharma Master mentioned about Fanfasher giving his sutra lectures at night. He does it every single night, rain or shine. If he's sick or not, the lay people tell me, even if Fanfasher is sick, he still lectures. So he's coughing and he still lectures. So he does it every single night from 8:20 to 9:40 p.m., which is essentially 5:20 to 6:40 p.m. here in America in the morning. Monday, Tuesday, Shrangama Sutra. Wednesday, Thursday, Lotus Sutra. Friday and Saturday, he's actually doing the 10 grounds. And Sunday, he's doing Qingliang Guoshi's commentary to the Avatamsaka. About 120 plus participants each night. And some have been listening for many years, like 4 or 5 years, on a steady basis every night. And so I think Dharma Master, you remember, he actually started doing this because of the Avatamsaka translation group way back when we started. So was a you could say a child of that project. Yep. He started to have a little discussion group on the side, and that became his own sutra lecture. So this is Fanfasher doing evening ceremony. This is the Buddha image. This is the Samantabhadra's elephant. I really liked his compassionate face on the bottom floor. So this is the bottom. This is Fanfasher giving his sutra lecture. And then this is a carving on the bottom of in the main Buddha hall upstairs. He actually has somebody carve this into the wood, the 2 dragons. So that's, I think, pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe just as a brief reflection, I was there for about 3 days, and I just got a chance to practice with the Dharma Master Fan. It was pretty quiet there in terms of activities. It was during the weekday, and so I just was mostly just there with Fanfasher, and he showed me how to cook, which is essentially chopping up some vegetables, throwing it in a pot, and boiling it, and heating up white rice. Dharma Master, he said that the Umama would make that kind of food for you when you were there before. Mm-hmm. So it's very simple food. And what else happened? We had some of the laity come and on the 15th and make offerings. I think what I was struck by for the lay people in Taiwan, they're very, very sincere. When I just arrived, they especially kind of brought me to the Kaohsiung Fenhui, the Kaohsiung branch, just to have food for me, so I would have food on time rather than waiting a couple hours to get to the actual monastery. And so they especially came and cooked some food for me. I was very touched by their sincerity in making offerings. So yeah, I think that's just maybe, if you're interested in going, Fanfasher actually has regular Dharma assemblies, maybe 4 or 5 times a year for a week. And they have facilities now for the men's side and the women's side to stay. They've rented a house down in Liu Gui. It's a very nice house. They can have about 30 women stay there overnight. So it's ready for practice and activities. There's a summer camp for families during the summertime, probably around our Buddha Root Farm dates, maybe early July or August. So yeah, people are welcome to go. It's a nice Dao Tang. Okay, alrighty. So I'll stop sharing my screen here.
All right. I remember my last visit to Liu Gui, Mrs. Zheng said, 恒斯法师感恩你把金饭师送给我们了，他很能干呐。She said, thank you, Dharma Master, for sending us Jin Fan. Sure, he can really do stuff, she said. Now, that comes, that there's stories within stories. So we've had numerous monks who didn't fill the bill, but Jin Fan Shi's, and in fact, I didn't send him. So, but thank you, Zhang Tatat, for crediting me. That's kind of like people in Australia saying, "Oh, Heng Sure's back and it started to rain." Oh, that's great. I should take all the credit, right? Yeah, until it stops raining, and then what? And then I'm stuck because I really, in fact, don't have much to do with the frequency of the rain here, as much as I might wish. So yeah, I didn't send Jin Fan Shi, but I'm glad he's there because he's really created the conditions for some extraordinary cultivation and practice there. So thanks for the tour, and I'm glad you got to do it. You might brush up your cooking skills, Jin Chuan, for the future. That's a wholesome, kung fu.
Yeah. That was one of my intentions of going, was be able to learn how to cook from Fan Fasher.
There you go.
So I paid a lot of close attention. How do you chop up the vegetables? Because I have absolutely no experience. So how many carrots do you put in? Okay.
How many carrots? Yeah. For somebody who didn't know how to boil water for tea, that's good knowledge for you, because if we eat every day, and we're not always going to have kind-hearted lay people to provide for us. So if you can learn how to feed monks, that's a valuable skill. Speaking of which, I got a communication from Ted Berger, who is our filmmaker. Ted has made a film called Yixin, One Mind, and he made a film called Amongst White Clouds, and a film called Jie, Precepts, and one called Shi, Eating. And in these films, he takes his movie camera into Buddhist monasteries and shows how things are done, and to this day, and I remember in the film Yixin, One Mind, there's one of the scenes where it's head shaving time, and not every monk in China has a razor, and in the monastery there is a barber who shaves anybody willing to sit down and get ready to have their head shaved. And because monks need their head shaved periodically, according to the Vinaya, according to our rules, this barber, the camera focuses in as the barber carefully shaves. And to be the monastery barber in a culture where monks shave each other's heads is a really important skill, to be able to shave heads. Speaking of which, my colleague, Marty Verhoeven, who was Heng Chao Fasher, was he shaved with a straight edge. And you know what a straight edge is? It's that piece of metal, right? On the strop like that. And Marty shaved my head with a straight edge, by golly, and I didn't offer any blood to the gods and the dragons. And when we got back to Gold Mountain, Master Hua said, "Guoting, do you have your razor? Give me a head shave." Master Hua had Marty shave his head with a straight edge. And a straight edge, I mean, you make one false move and there's blood is pouring down, It's the sharp, the barber's razor. And Marty kicked Marty out and said, "If you want to shave my head, I'd be happy if you would." So Marty has some skill with a straight edge razor. So monastic barbers, monastic cooks, monastic tailors. Oh boy, if a monk is able to take cloth and make robes from it, very, very necessary skill indeed. And so, yeah. All right. It is now 3:00 here in the Gold Coast. I'm going to go have my lunch. Haven't eaten since yesterday. And it's 9 p.m. in California, just passed. So I didn't get to my stories about my travels because I just got off the airplane 27 hours ago. I got to put them together, put the stories together. Next week, I'll tell you what happened. Well, I was away for 3 weeks. We got to hear about 6 turtles, Liu Gui, today. So coming up next week is Stories of My Travels, which included some unusual experiences, such as being invited to be the Dharma host, the Faju, the monk who stands in the middle for the grand opening, the inauguration of the new Singapore Buddhist Lodge, 佛教居士林, 新加坡佛教居士林. Now, this is a major event with the future Prime Minister of Singapore was present, and he's currently the deputy, and 1,000 guests, just ren shan, ren hai, people ocean, people mountains, meaning people everywhere. And we had 3 major abbots from China, the abbot of Putoshan, Fa Yusi, and the abbot of Emeishan, Jinding, and the abbot of Jade Buddha in Shanghai. These are all Dharma friends. And because I'm a senior, I am the Zhanglao, I had to stand in the middle with the red robe, and I don't know the ceremony. 1,000 people, cameras, coming in on every move, and I'm like looking left and looking right. What do I do now? Oh my goodness. And never mind that I was the only Caucasian in the room out of 1,000 people. Why am I standing in the middle, right? Don't ask. Okay. So, dedication of merit. Anybody who wants to dedicate merit to places like Puerto Rico, where they've had 2 major earthquakes happen in the last 48 hours. Apparently all of Puerto Rico is out of electricity now because of these earthquakes. The fires are still burning here in Australia. Luckily with the rain here, not luckily, the rain is due here in the Gold Coast, so we have, we're out of immediate fire danger, but that could change. So dedicate that merit, send out wishes for goodness. Here we go. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with life, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of the endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, thank you all for joining. And Jin Chuan, once we finish, you can lead everybody in bowing to the Buddhas, please. And then if you want to make your announcements for what is going on this week in Berkeley, please do so. Okay, Amitofo. See you all next week. Bye for now.
Amitofo. So in terms of announcements, I think our classes are still on winter break. Um, so just our normal Saturday activities and Thursday activities. I don't know if there's anything else happening. I don't think we have Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year on the 25th. I'm not sure what our Dharma assembly is going to be yet, but we usually do Om Mani Padme Hum, I think, for our last couple of years. So I don't think we've fixed the time yet. I think before we started at either 8:30 or 9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. Yeah, so 9 a.m. on the Lunar New Year. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, let's bow to the Buddhas and wish everyone a good rest of the week.